our franchise star, but we're not selling off everything. We don't want to be terrible.
Yeah,
And then they go, fine, we'll keep Greinke. No one offered them anything, I assume, decent in the off
yeah.
season.
So yeah,
They
because
get another like decent spell out of him, and his value actually increases because his contract also gets
yeah,
less in that period. And that's why, if you are selling, don't
yeah,
tell everyone you're bloody selling. Is the
yeah.
big
Or
thing.
don't tell everyone we want to get rid of everyone right now
Yeah,
because a lot of teams have done that. Well, like when the Tigers did it, and well, they ended up basically. Well, I don't. What Verlander was a waiver trade. Didn't get anything for hardly.
yeah, barely anything for
And
him.
then even
And
like JD Martinez, Justin
like
Upton hardly got
those two
much.
were free agents though in their thing. I think
Yeah,
they were
but
both.
still, I mean, they're very good hitters.
Some of it's just yeah, some of it's just negotiating stuff that I don't. It's bizarre. I mean, I'd like to say I'm sure they know better than we do, but some of the stuff where you tell people what your plan is before you've done it,
Yeah,
when you're going to then be negotiating with said people, is very weird. Like I said, the Mane, we're going to cut payroll and we want to get rid of all these guys. Don't tell the people you might be giving them to that. Where's your leverage?
I know.
Then you get nothing. So I think the Diamondbacks have pulled a blinder. They also pulled off that slightly bizarre trade,
Jazz
what,
Chisholm,
as Chisholm for Zack
who
Gallen.
was their top prospect, who had been having a bad year.
But he's a toolsy guy, but
Yeah,
really, really like if his ceiling is basically
which seems to fit the
God.
Marlins. Seems to
Yeah,
fit the Marlins quite well because well, they pick up some others. Can't remember what else they got, but they did some other moves, didn't they, to get some
they
more
also
position
got
player
they
prospects?
got Jesus Sanchez.
Yeah, that's it.
Isn't it? Jesus Sanchez.
Yeah,
They got him in the deal that saw Trevor Richards and Nick Anderson go to
the Rays,
the Rays in an
and they got something
inter-Florida trade.
else.
They also got Ryan Stanek, I think it was in that deal.
Oh yes, that's
In-
quite a good deal for them.
Interesting little trade. They basically suddenly have got some other more position prospects.
Yeah,
I was really surprised they let go of Zach Gallen though.
yeah, because he's basically one of the sort of prospects that actually started panning out. But and we were talking about the Marlins the other day, actually, weren't we, when we were on that walk, talking about how a lot of teams like that, they're almost so far away that they can't just do like a straight up, you know, like it's like almost like a two-stage rebuild. You can't just get some players and then, well, basically because they dumped everyone. The haul they got was so minimal, they end up when you're like a bad team with a bad farm system. You
Yeah.
can't just bring up the players from your farm and then start trying to compete. You almost
No.
need to bring up the players from your farm,
Deal
then
some of
trade
them.
those for more prospects
Yeah, and then go again.
because you need to like spend a couple of years just building the farm up.
Building some value
Not even
somehow.
trying to develop players yet. You just want to really well, obviously developing the minors, but you don't you're not particularly looking to bring up young players that you're trying to hold onto.
No.
Especially, I mean, a couple of them maybe like Alfaro and like Brinson if he comes on, guys like that. But
I was really surprised that they dealt Gallen, but maybe well,
yeah,
yeah, I guess the thing is pitchers are kind of hard to predict at times.
yeah, and they had a lot of them. 'Cause I don't think he was a super high prospect, was he?
No,
And he's just
no,
started performing really
and
well.
this, like I said, the ceiling on Jazz Chisholm is ridiculous.
Yeah,
Like if he can figure it out because he's such a supreme athlete, if he can get like put all of that stuff together, you're looking at like a Lindor sort of player.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
yeah, there's a
but
lot of
that's
players like that though, isn't
I
there?
know.
But
Well,
it's like
yes, exactly.
it's another dice roll, and probably well quite a good one because he's already a top 100 prospect.
Yeah. Um, but I absolutely loved the Braves trade for them. I thought that was really nice. Um,
Yeah,
it was also decent for the Rays because they got stuff they needed. It was just one of those trades that basically, and I think this is why there was criticism of um, the
yeah,
last week of the deadline, before the deadline, is that people weren't making the moronic
yeah.
deals, and that's what
People
people seem
always
to
well, a
crave.
lot of people like to talk about it, black and white of buyers and sellers, but I think a lot of the intelligent teams now, well, like I keep saying with Zaidi and basically what the Rays did is it's not so black and white.
I
You
think
just
it's
try it's because I mean that while that deal is sort of a buy for the Rays, they gave up like one of their like key
Pitching
pitchers
guys
who's been like, well, he's
to
basically
get
been their
two,
main opener
to get two,
to
yeah.
get two. One of who is really young anyway and hasn't. Isn't which one is it? Is it Anderson, the reliever?
Nick Anders, is he really young?
Well, I don't think he's really young, but he's not pitched that much in the majors. I mean, he's not.
He's 29, but yes, he's only made 46 major league appearances, including one for the Rays.
Yeah. So yeah, that guy that's basically they've got
Con
another guy under team control.
controllable for
Yeah.
ages.
So that's. I mean that could almost be it. If someone traded for like an established major leaguer for that guy, that would then be a selling move. So they've sort of a lot of teams that are doing both at the same time. It's just
It's weighing up. I
weighing it
think
up and basically trying to sustain long-term success, right? Where you're not just gonna
peak
give
and
away all
trough
your
all the time.
prospects and give for,
Yeah,
and you're not
but
just gonna give away all your current good players to get
so
all
I
your
think the
prospects.
result is though is I can't really think of maybe any. There are a couple of trades. So like the Colby Allard for Chris Martin, I thought, well, that's a high price, and then I look into it and it's not really.
Yeah,
Um, but there weren't. I can't think of any trades off the top of my head anyway that were like that was stupid. Whereas in the past,
well,
there've been a few. I mean, like I don't. And that's
yeah,
I think that's where people are like, why were people teams not proactive enough? Is just teams aren't making bad moves. They're not making reckless. Yeah, you can have
yeah,
Gavin Lux for rental.
and also at the same time, the teams asking for that stuff are sort of right to ask for it. I mean, like the
Yeah,
Felipe Vasquez stuff, it's like, yeah, he's under loads of control,
controllable all
and
star.
he's been one of the best left-handed relievers for like a few years, and he's going to carry on being that for a few years.
And is it 4 years of 4.5 years of club
Yeah,
control?
something
I
like
think.
that. And so it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
even if they're not competing,
you should want the farm,
they
the house, the keys, the
they want a
tractor.
lot. They're going to want a lot for that. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think I mean it wasn't all just Gavin Lux anyway. I think there was quite a lot of stuff saying they would have done Dustin May and Keibert Ruiz, which to me doesn't seem like a stupid price. But also at the same time, the Dodgers are, shouldn't have accepted that because they're in a really strong position anyway. And well, Dustin May's just made his major league debut, and
yeah,
could be like their next like superstar starting pitcher to go with the rest of them.
yeah. So that's yeah. Just going back to the Greinke deal, and I kind of think tie this into the maybe the inactivity of not as much the Dodgers, but the Red Sox and Yankees, because that was one of the things that
Yeah,
people, including people with websites like us, you want
I
the big market
I
teams to
think
do stuff.
yeah I got the sense of a lot of the time of a lot of the media people you saw kind of moaning about it being slow and boring. A lot of it is, oh yeah, there's not the big blockbuster deals,
There's no traffic because
and
the
there's
big
not
market teams aren't doing anything.
and yeah, and the Red Sox and Yankees aren't doing stuff, which is get what gets all
Yeah,
the clicks,
I mean, yeah, exactly.
which
Um,
yeah would have been nice for our website as well. But
so
I mean,
the Greinke thing
it was still fun.
was the Yankees couldn't necessarily trade for him because he had a no trade to them. Um,
Yeah,
I don't think they would have done anyway. But the thing with that was the Astros again were proactive, and the Red Sox and Yankees. While we were just saying about don't make reckless deals, don't make bad deals for the sake of making a deal at the deadline. But
yeah,
also, if your bullpen is bad or your rotation is giving up a ton of runs for a
yeah.
month, do something.
Especially when you're meant to be competing right now.
Yeah,
Oh, we were talking about this, weren't we? Of the Yankees are now meant to be good, and while they are doing really well. But like with how badly this rotation's been, I mean, I don't think they're going to
Paxton had a
carry on
good
being.
start last night, I think.
Yeah, I don't
But
think they're going to carry on being this bad because they weren't this bad before. It's just like a bad run, but like it does show there's like vulnerability there.
yeah,
And if you're not doing anything to fix that, like, well, they've got the money. They could have just gone and got Greinke, couldn't they? They could have said,
no, he had a no trade to them.
"I do," but I mean, what? He just wasn't going to go.
Well, you don't. No one knows. But
But did he not? Well, I mean, I think he probably may well have done. I mean, a lot of the time, people waive
I
those
did see a few
to go
people
to
say he's
competitive
Zack
teams.
Greinke. Who knows? Other people,
Yeah,
it would be you might go and play for the Yankees. He's also it's different to when if it's a rental because you can't say we'll give you an extension at the end of the year, can you? Like
No.
lure them in with a big pot of money. He's got several big pots of
Yeah.
money at the moment.
But no, I mean,
They should have
they
tried.
should
I
have done
doubt they
that,
did.
or
There's been nothing
or
to say they
Mike
did.
Minor or something. But it's literally well, they're saying Davy Garcia was completely untouchable, which I mean, whilst he looks like a good prospect, it looks like he's had a good year. Like, I don't know whether that is completely sensible. I mean, it was other than Syndergaard, he's untouchable, wasn't it? Or
That
was
was
the rule?
that was the thing that John Heyman
Yeah,
kept saying. My thing would be um, the Dodgers having Gavin Lux as untouchable. Fair
yeah.
enough.
Especially
Even
when
Dustin May and Will Smith because they're all
yeah,
basically there.
and they don't need to, and the Dodgers didn't have like a glaring need. They didn't really need to go and get Felipe Vasquez. It just would have made them. It would have
Also,
made
the
them better.
Dodgers, which wasn't although the Dodgers were grouped in, they didn't do anything. They
Yeah,
did get they got Kolarek, didn't they, for their bullpen? And
yeah,
did they get someone else? Goffin, they might have picked up someone
yeah.
else.
I think those are
They
the.
did Dodgers
I
stuff.
think those are the clever moves though. Like, well, the Braves did sort of did that, but they did give stuff up. But the Nationals did it as well, didn't they? Where they got
Strickland, Ronis, Elias, who then injured
yeah,
himself by swinging when he'd been told not to, and Daniel Hudson
yeah,
for
where
not
where
much.
they're not. I mean, they're not like big names, or they're not guys that've been really productive recently. Well, I think Strickland was a free agent, wasn't he? Was he?
No, he was at Seattle,
Was
but
he
he's
still
been
at
injured.
Seattle? Okay. I don't know. I had a feeling he'd been released or something, but I don't know. He'd just been really, really terrible. Where it almost would have been.
I don't know. He's been injured, I
Yeah.
think, for quite a bit this year.
Um. Yeah. I think when he's pitched, his ERA is like 7 or something, isn't
6.23, but he's only pitched in 5 games, so
it? Okay. But yeah. But basically, my point is like those sort of moves. I think are the clever ones, where it's you're just trading little pieces each way. Um. But guys like that, I mean, pitchers particularly when they go to a different environment and pitch on a different team can just become something else because
yeah,
people get a little bit too wrapped on the up in the this player's good, this player's bad. I mean, it's often a lot more complicated than that. Of you know everything else around it, of just how the team's run and everything. Well, and the obvious example of that is Justin Verlander that we mentioned earlier.
yeah.
That like he
Uh,
was at the Tigers. What was it? He had like
well,
three.
and Jarrett Cole actually.
Yeah, Jarrett Cole as well. I mean,
Jarrett Cole even
yeah.
more extreme,
I mean, yeah, Astros like the extreme version of
but it
you know,
happens with everyone. Yeah,
yeah. Well, or the Rays. The Rays are another one that they get pitchers and you know make them good.
yeah.
But
My thing with the Yankees, to a lesser extent, the Red Sox because they're not right in it. The Yankees are going to win their division. They're
no,
going to the playoffs.
and to be
If
honest, they've. I mean, I don't know what they're holding on to for like onto
that's my
stuff
thing
for.
is, yeah, Davy Garcia and the rest of their farm,
I
they don't
suppose they're.
have
I
like
suppose because their rotation's been a bit weak. Like, yeah, maybe they're thinking we need him, but that's one prospect, isn't it? Like, I don't know how much difference that's going to make. But then a lot of the other guys, like Florial and guys like that, and other starting pitchers they've got by like Clark Schmidt or something, is it? They don't look like they're going to make that much difference to like
they're
a
not
proper
moving the
contender.
needle to make your World
Yeah,
Series.
or and especially when they're trying to win like right now.
Yeah, exactly. They're not helping you this year. So that is the most overwhelming point in the Dodgers' favor is Gavin Lux, Dustin May, and Will Smith may well help them win the World Series this year.
Yeah, or at least well, some of them. Will Smith and Dustin May definitely will.
Yeah,
And if Gavin Lux doesn't,
Gavin
he might
Lux
well be
is.
up opening day next year.
Yeah, I mean he's
It's
just
their like everyday second baseman
being
forevermore.
repulsively good in AAA at the moment.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, retaining those to me is like fine, make them untouchable. But with the Yankees, it's like well, you needed a starting pitcher, trade for Tanner Roark, trade for Mike Minor, do both.
yeah,
Those that's worth more to you. Or try and get a controllable guy. Give up some of the depth from your farm to
yeah.
get a controllable guy to go alongside um,
I think that's what I
Tanaka and
would have done.
Paxton in the postseason. Or
Yeah,
I don't know what I would have done necessarily, but there were a lot of options, and to not do any of them,
yeah,
like okay, maybe it's not postseason baseball isn't like isn't a science in the same way as regular season baseball.